Ukraine's military repelled more than 70 Russian attacks and struck 11 areas where Russian troops were concentrated over the past 24 hours, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported in its morning briefing. Russian forces are concentrating on conducting offensives toward Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Marinka in Donetsk Oblast. Battles around Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Marinka remain the hottest in the war, the General Staff said. Over the past 24 hours, Russia launched 2 missile strikes, 30 airstrikes, and more than 40 attacks from multiple launch rocket systems against Ukraine, according to the update. Russia launched a missile attack on civilian sites in the cities of Drushkivka and Avdiivka in Donetsk Oblast with ballistic missiles, killing and wounding civilians. Russia's attacks on Avdiivka caused significant damage to infrastructure. Russian forces also shelled the city of Berislav and its outskirts in Ukraine's southern Kherson Oblast on April 1. The shelling hit residential buildings and critical infrastructure, leaving several parts of the city without electricity. First responders are at the site of the attacks, Litvinov said. As a result of the shelling of Berislav, 1 person was injured. A man was also injured in the village of Tyahinka near Berislav and was hospitalized. Earlier in the day, Russian shelling killed 1 person in the city of Kherson, President Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, reported. A separate instance of shelling wounded 4 people in a residential area in the village of Kozatsky, Kherson Oblast, according to the Oblast prosecutor's office. The city of Kherson and other settlements in the region on the Dnipro River's west bank have been continuously subjected to Russian shelling since they were liberated by Ukrainian forces in November 2022. Russian troops were pushed to the river's east bank, from where they have since been firing at the liberated territories, regularly resulting in civilian deaths and injuries. Russian forces targeted the Osmanska and Bilopilska communities in Sumy Oblast with grenade launchers and mortars almost 50 times, the regional military administration reported on Facebook. According to the update, Russia shelled the Osmanska community with self-propelled artillery 7 times. Russian forces shelled the Bilopilska community with mortars and grenade launchers over 30 times. No casualties were reported. Both communities are located in the northeastern part of the oblast, directly on the border with Russia. Guardians of children who have not yet evacuated from Sloviansk, located in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk Oblast and the site of constant Russian assaults, will lose custody and children will be forcibly evacuated, according to a decision by the city's Commission for the Protection of Children's Rights. Ukraine began mandatory evacuation from the region in early August 2022 following a decision by Ukraine's cabinet of ministers. Despite mandatory evacuation and numerous calls from the government to leave with children, more than 30 orphans are still in Sloviansk with guardians. According to the administration, caretakers were again informed of the need to evacuate children to safer regions of Ukraine, including Cherkasy and Lviv oblasts, during meetings of the Commission for the Protection of Children's Rights that took place in Sloviansk on March 30 and 31. Guardians were reminded that evacuation is free of charge and that if they refuse to evacuate children, they will lose custody and the children will be forcibly evacuated, the administration said. Ukraine will buy 100 armored transport vehicles from Poland, the Polish Prime Minister has announced. Mateusz Morawiecki said EU and US cash will be used to pay for the top-shelf Rosomax combat transporters. Poland has already handed over their pledged Leopard tanks and promised 4 MiG-29 fighter jets earlier this month. Proposals to stop Russian companies from sending liquefied natural gas to European Union nations have been welcomed by EU Energy Commissioner Kadri Simpson. This is not a law yet, but this is now a very concrete step, Simpson said at a business event in northern Italy. EU countries agreed on Tuesday to seek a legal option to stop Russian companies from sending liquefied natural gas to EU nations by preventing Russian firms from booking infrastructure capacity.